Hey guys, as promised, today I'm going to be answering your questions about my contest prep that I recently went through. For those of you who don't know, as a bit of background, on November 8th, I competed at the OCB show in Tampa, Florida. It was hosted by Paul Ravella and his wife, Misty. I competed in the bikini category, and actually it was my first time back on stage in 3.5 years. This was after I had pretty much sworn off competing and thought I would never do it again, mostly because I thought it was an exhausting process. It was really draining, and afterward, the aftermath of it was really not that pretty. But I will be writing about my decisions, why I decided to compete again, and how I went about it in my blog posts and upcoming Instagram posts and Facebook statuses, so stick around for that. So today I will be answering your guys' questions. I have compiled all your questions into separate categories. So the first one is going to be training and cardio conditioning questions. And so let's start there. Okay, first one. Carly Ann 01 asks, what was your exercise like during prep? It was the same as it always is. Heavy lifting, with a sprinkling of conditioning here and there. To be more specific, I followed a modified version of Layne Norton's FAT protocol, that is Power Hypertrophy Adaptive Training, PHAT, and if you guys want to see a free sample training program, you guys can always Google Layne Norton FAT protocol or FAT program, and you can find it freely available online. So I did 5 days a week of heavy lifting, and I did a few days of conditioning depending on where I was in my prep. But honestly, in total, I did not exercise more than 8 hours a week max, and that's being pretty generous. I would say, honestly, probably more like 7 hours a week was more the goal. And I also almost always took 2 full days off completely every week from all exercise so that I can run errands or just take a break and give my body a rest. Cy the Great asks, how much cardio did you do, and did you get more strict with food towards the end of the prep? Cardio-wise, traditional cardio-wise, for steady state, I did none. I did 0. And this was something that was very intentional on my part. I said, I don't believe that you have to do steady state cardio to get lean. And I know that is true, and I wanted to practice what I preach. So I said no steady state cardio whatsoever. Did you get more strict with food towards the end of prep? That is a nutrition-related question, but I'll answer it now since you combined it into one. The answer is no. I did not get more strict with my food choices. I did not cut out junk food or fun foods whatsoever, even during my peak week, actually. My peak week, I was eating bagels and grilled cheese. Matt and Penny 100 asks, how did your training change over the course of the prep? I would say, honestly, I don't think it really changed that much. The intensity stayed up. I didn't do drop sets and supersets and going to failure. I didn't incorporate any fancy schmancy anything. I did the FAT protocol, and that was really it. And my goal was to either get stronger every week or maintain my strength numbers, because when you're in a caloric deficit, getting you're not going to get exponentially stronger, obviously, because you don't have the calories to fuel your workouts like that. So I was really just aiming to maintain my strength levels, and that was the best I could hope for. And any kind of strength gains I had during my prep was just a bonus. But I continued to lift heavy. I continued to lift mostly compound movements with some accessory lifts thrown in there at the end, and that was it. Nothing fancy. Island Girl for Life, Cass, asked, I'm curious, do you train abs? No, I do not train abs. I do not train abs directly, but I do train my core, because from deadlifts and squats and chin-ups, pull-ups, all those things, you get plenty of core activation. Most people can probably make fine progress not training abs directly. If I wanted to, I'm sure I could have thrown in some reverse crunches or some hanging leg raises or some power presses and whatnot, but I did not do any of that stuff during my prep. Justin Veens asks, how much extra activity, if any, did you do? To be honest, and I think this might surprise a lot of people, I did not exercise any more than I normally do. I did not increase my time in the gym. I did not increase my time conditioning or anything. Like I said, it just keep up my intensity, and it was really my nutrition. It was the macros that was the main thing that was changed the most. How long was the total cut? That's a great question. My prep was 20 weeks long. 20 weeks. I started in mid-June. To be honest, I think I probably could have gotten away with a shorter prep, but the reason why I wanted to do 20 weeks was that I didn't want to feel rushed. I didn't want to feel the pressure of having to be ready by a certain deadline and feeling like I wasn't going to be ready, because I know how stressful that can be. And I knew that if I had a shorter prep, it would maybe make me a little more prone to freaking out over daily weight fluctuations, and I just didn't want to become that neurotic, obsessive person that I was with my first prep. So I decided to opt for a longer prep, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to take it slow, take my time, and if I'm ready early, then I can reverse diet into my show without a worry. If not, then I have the time. I have the time to coast into the show, either way. So 20 weeks. Pat Smith, what is your cardio schedule during your regular prep and peak week? Cardio-wise, again, I did no steady-state cardio, but I did, depending on where I was on my prep, I did either 2 or 3 days of conditioning, so intervals that never lasted more than 25 minutes sessions each. And the actual work period was probably around 10 minutes, because I had 5 sets of intervals for each session, plus a 5-minute warm-up and a 5-minute cool-down. As far as peak week, I did have a little bit of steady-state cardio just for peak week, and if you want the details of that, you can probably look up Lane Norton's peak week plan that he has freely available on bodybuilding.com to learn more about how to go about implementing that. Eugenie John asks, what was the lowest and highest number of cardio sessions you did during prep? So again, I'm going to say 0 steady-state cardio. As far as conditioning, the lowest number I did was 2 times a week. The highest number I did was 3 times a week. And again, never more than 25 minutes long. And that was really it. Just hit it hard, go home, and forget about it.